think I'm looking at myself backwards. I think it's throwing me off. I wonder why it's doing that. I don't think it's ever done it before. Sounds like people are racing remote control cars down the street. I don't know what that is. Hey y'all, I'm live on the internet right now. I thought I would do that. I got Bella right here. We can see her. I can't hold the camera good. Take my word for it. I don't know why. The video's reversed. So it's like you're looking at a mirror image of myself, and therefore I don't know how to move the camera. You know, I'm live on the internet. I thought I would, ceremoniously, because it is Sunday, I thought I would come on and, acknowledge that I'm slacking. It's Sunday. Actually, this let you know it's no excuse, but I want to let you know in my personal life, I was working, as I do a lot of working every day, every week. And this week, I actually did some overtime. I've been doing it every other week. Overtime, I did an overtime shift yesterday, Saturday. And today is Sunday. And I was able to pass out pretty good when I got home very late last night. But then I had to wake up early and did a couple things. Tried to mow the grass. I don't know if you check that out. For whoever's watching, shout out to you on the internet. I got that far. The thing is, the blade, this and that. I gotta borrow a lawnmower, which I'm gonna do tomorrow, and then I'm gonna think about buying another lawnmower. Anyways, I was doing that sort of stuff, and I went ahead and I was gonna go retrieve the other lawnmower, and I decided I might as well cut that grass. And I did that, which, it got me a little bit of exercise, got me outside, stuff like that. But then I want to pass out again because I haven't slept enough. I had to catch up on sleep during these days, all right? And so I took a nap after I cut the yard down the street. I took a nap while I was there, all right? And, a short walk later, I'm over here, and we're here together now. That's where we're at. And I feel like I'm not in a very good state as far as to be able to run a music broadcast. Maybe I could. Maybe I could right now. I see the tablets over there. You can't see it, but I can see it. Sorry for being too close. Shout out to the two people in the chat room. Let's stop being on. Oh, it's Killer Gamer. What's up, Killer Gamer? Can we do music? What kind of music? We want to do the music show or what? Because we could get that going. Just take a little setup and stuff like that. Like I said, I still haven't really caught up on sleep necessarily. And of course, I'm going to wait to sleep till tonight. But, I've just been running behind, basically. I wanted to give people an update. Desperately running behind, as people typically are living their lives and stuff. There's so many things to do out there that you're never, ever going to get it all done. But however you try, you can do all this sort of stuff. I also wanted to acknowledge that whether or not we do the radio broadcast tonight, and I think we might do it. The thing is, afterwards, I'm definitely going to dive back into the investigation, and you know what I'm talking about, Parkland, Florida, all y'all out there, you know what I'm talking about. Dive back into that. Not necessarily just so much the investigation, because the thing is, I'm investigating new things every single day and finding out new things, but more specifically about the documentary, right? Because there's been multiples of people who have been telling me, that they very much look for, and I'm talking about people who I respect, people in the field, people who get information, people who relay information have told me that they look forward to this documentary they have coming out. Just gotta let you know. All right, just so that you know, the whole documentary is already basically in my head. I have more than enough. Every single day it just comes out to be more. I would never be able to cover it all, but it's all in my head basically. The situation is putting it, organizing it all into a format that's visible that you can see as you've seen on the previews. Right, and I gotta let you know, it's coming along pretty good. As far as the preview went, that is a small taste. All right, that is a little taste of what you're gonna get, and you're gonna get a lot more of it. As far as the documentary goes, as far as time constraints go, I'm hoping for it to be an hour and a half long. I don't know how much time we have. The thing is, I want to get the documentary out to the public, hopefully before November. I mean, it really kind of is a must as far as midterms, and I want to get off into the weeds. But oh man, shout out Philip Boyd, please to meet ya. I thought y'all already met, man. It's Killer Gamer, and Philip Boyd up in the chat room and stuff like that. I was gonna shout out to Philip Boyd. Philip Boyd, man, I left you a comment earlier, and I don't know if you got it. It's talking about sorry about being too close to the dang camera, dude. I don't know how to work the cameras in reverse. But I left you a comment. The thing is, I don't know if you Google Hangout. I know Killer Gamer Google hangs out. A lot of people Google Hangout actually. And the thing is, I know we don't trust Google. I'm not saying to trust Google, but a lot of people, Google Hangout, and that's pretty entertaining. It's pretty fun to do. Actually, I do want to mention that, and the prospects are out. The opportunities out there for anybody who wants to Google Hangout and live stream it. I know that there's ways to do that. People do that all the time, where you Google Hangout and you discuss things that are imperative or whatever. You get together with people and you discuss things, and you do it and you live stream it. I think that would be very crucial, because the thing is, I talk to a lot of people, a lot of very interesting people, got very interesting things to say, and there's that. But anyways, holler at me, let me know what it is, because I know that there's certain things that are on people's minds that they need to get off their minds, or they need to get off their chests maybe. Certainly people have those sort of things. We're living in wild times, crazy times. I find it very entertaining. I don't know what y'all are talking about in the chat room. I have a lot of friends to go on the Google Hangout. Yeah, see, that's the thing about it. This new generation, the youth out there, and that's where the future is at. They Google Hangout, and if it's not Google Hangout, it's something else. It's kind of like it, where basically you can have contact with people all around the world if you want. Maybe just across town, maybe across the whole world. You could talk to people, and that's what's beautiful about the Google Hangout, and it is the way of the future and stuff. It makes the world. It's very interesting, because the thing is, conversations are being had to such an extent that they've just never been had before in history, because of access, because of technology, communications. Going on Baby Shark, putting on Killer Game's got a problem, says her brother won't stop putting on Baby Shark. I don't know what a Baby Shark is, but that does sound like a problem. I used to have a little brother, and I still do, but he's actually pretty big now. And he tended to be a problem from time to time. It's not a rarity. The thing is, I did want to come on live and see that, or not see that, but say that, relay those messages with y'all. Whether or not I wanted to get a feeler out, whether or not a music broadcast should go down, whether or not we're prepared for it anyways, because we're running so behind, and there is a deadline, as we've discussed, about the Parkland situation, in which I'm very much dived way down deep in that rabbit hole. But since we're here, we got a couple of my favorite people out here in the chat room. I do want to know what the heck, what do y'all want to talk about real quick before, we get on out of here or we move on to something else. Real quick, what is on y'all's mind right now, today, right now on the internet, live? What do you want to speak on right now? Is it Kanye West? Probably is. For some reason it is. Every like couple months. And the thing is, say whatever you want about it. It's kind of as far as publicity goes, it is pretty genius to, be all over the place every couple of months. It'll get you a lot of money. All right. But no, whatever's on y'all's mind. What is really on your heart? What's on your chest today? Is Sunday. All right. Maybe it's just relaxing. Maybe you want to talk about relaxing. How we could relax and relax like nobody's business. Maybe you want to talk about that, but I'm not sure. Killer Game is talking about her bad temper. That's true, man. I bet you do. That's the thing about it. I could tell. All right. Plus, those people up north, and if when you play hockey, yeah, you probably do have a bad temper and stuff. Usually that's what happens. There's a lot of fighting I noticed goes on in hockey. I was gonna mention the other day though. I mean, it's not all fighting necessarily. I know as a young kid, I was telling Killer Gamer the other day, dude, we don't play hockey in San Antonio, and it's crazy. We do have a hockey team, but people just don't hardly care. The thing is because it's not cold enough. There are no such things as frozen lakes and stuff. People don't play hockey. But I remember as a kid watching them movies. I'm talking about people my age already know. But the Mighty Ducks. That was inspirational, man, I know it's Disney and everything, but the Mighty Ducks, grew up on that sort of stuff, man. And, I think ever since then, especially, I've always had a great respect for hockey and stuff like that. But anyways, we're talking about tempers, bad tempers. It's true, man. Everybody's got tempers. Or not everybody, but a lot of people do. I know I certainly did. I don't know if you could say that maybe I do. Some people might look at me and say that I do today, but I don't feel like I do. I come from a family though where that is the case. There's a temper problem. It comes from both sides, man. It kind of influenced me. I kind of grew up that way and therefore had a temper of my own and stuff, man. It's hard to overcome. It's a great big process. See what y'all are talking about. I had to get taken out of class because of the temper. Yeah, you told me that. I didn't believe that. What about, I'm not sure what we're talking about as far as temper. Well, I definitely had a temper and stuff at a certain point. And, I don't know, like I said, it's kind of a process. It's kind of something you're born into lots of the times. You come from people who have bad tempers. Stuff of this nature. Sometimes people get taken out of class for their tempers. Hey, I do want to mention also, that I tend to believe a certain kind of way, or like I think certain kind of ways. And as far as classrooms go, as far as school goes, I'm very wary of it, how it's going down. I was very wary of it back when I was in it, when I was a little kid and when I was a student and stuff. Didn't really like it and stuff. And I gotta let you know that a lot of people get taken out of class because of their temper or whatever else. There's going to be a situation involving anybody and everybody where eventually they need to get wrestled down on the ground because they're just wilding out, because they're going nuts, because they're losing it. Thing is, it's going to happen to the best of us, class and stuff. And, I had to bring it up, but I had to bring it up all the time, apparently. Kanye West, the other day, was in the White House, all right? A lot of people might not know this, especially the young folks out there, but Kanye West was in the White House the other day, and he was talking to Donald Trump, and he was talking about school and class stuff, and specifically about how it is boring as hell sometimes. It is so unbelievably boring. I'll let you know that, from a first-hand perspective, I've been through it. There's been so many times. It's been absolutely mind-numbing. Like boring beyond belief. Couldn't believe it. All right. So yeah, it is boring. It's that sort of environment lots of times will get people so agitated from the boredom that sometimes they might act out or lash out. Maybe they'll start making fun of somebody, and then somebody will lose their temper, and it's a domino effect of people pretty much transgressing on each other and stuff like that, not having fun in their situation, basically. I do, but my mother, oh man, what? Do you have any pictures of when you were a kid? Who, me? I don't know, I probably do. Yeah, you know, I was thinking about that the other day. Little pictures when I was a kid. I'm sure that they're laying around and stuff, man. Yeah, man, everybody's mother seems to have pictures and stuff. I know that there's a little cubby or something. There's a little Tupperware thing of pictures, and I might look for it and stuff. I was talking about, and I really do have pictures of when I was a goalkeeper, and I really was. I gotta let you know, and this is soccer, it's not hockey. But I was a goalkeeper like you wouldn't believe. Like, honestly. I was probably one, you know, I don't even want to get into it, but I was really, really good. And then at a certain point, I had to switch up, and I started playing the field. All right, and you know, back and forth from fullback to a striker. I don't know what's the positions called in hockey necessarily, but pretty much from the front to the back as far as the field goes. And then, yeah, because Killer Gamer herself is a goalkeeper. I gotta let you know, man. Everybody knows out there, or they should know, especially about Killer Gamer, probably. But the thing is, there's a certain type of person, and I think that's kind of why I'm on a backing out of being a goalkeeper, just because there is a certain kind of person. He's a goalkeeper, right? And there's certain qualities about that person. Like, number one, typically a goalkeeper is not shy about yelling as loud as they can in anybody's face about I mean, for all the goalkeepers that I've met before, they all yell in your face. Don't do anything wrong by a goalkeeper. You know what I mean? They will yell in your face for slacking on. They have, I don't know if you call it temper problems, but they're the cock of the walk. You know, they walk with their chest out. They're usually kind of arrogant as far as people go. Goalkeepers, they tend to act that way, and they'll yell at people. And they'll fight you. They'll probably fight you. There's this one goalkeeper that I actually know, probably the best one I ever knew. And he didn't really have a temper that way. He was a whole another bird altogether. My boy, I'm not going to say his name on the internet, but trust me, that guy was something else. And he was a goalkeeper, and I'm not even going to dive further into it, but let me tell you something. There's something off about goalkeepers. I'll tell you that right now. Man, I know. See, that's the thing about it. You don't even have to tell us. We know that you got in fights at the hockey games, and that's the thing. I've been to hockey games. Like I said, there's a team in San Antonio. I've actually seen them before a couple of times, 2 or 3 times. So the team is called, or it used to be called the Iguanas. All right, if you can imagine iguanas playing hockey. But they wound up changing the name to Rampage. So there is a team called the San Antonio Rampage that plays hockey. And I've been there before at some of the games. So let me tell you something. It's a fight like there's 2 or 3 legitimate knockdown. Like if they had to, see, here's the thing. If they weren't on ice, there would have been total carnage, basically, at least 2 or 3 times in each game. Like, if they weren't on ice, these people would have knocked each other's faces in. And they were really trying to do it. And, you know, hockey's very interesting. Football or soccer or whatever you want to call it is typically not that violent. I got to tell you, it's hard to be that violent. You kind of got to go out of your way to be that violent. It's getting very dark out here, so I turned on the light. But I was telling Killer Gamer, you know, I look forward to it. I want to see videos of the upcoming hockey season. Because it's very intriguing. It is very violent to an extent, but it's also pretty dang spectacular as a soccer player. I like watching soccer because, you know, I can analyze it as play by play and stuff. I can see what people are doing, what they should be doing with it, you know. I could tell where the game should go and stuff. And it's pretty much the same thing for hockey, except it's on like full speed, man. That's what I appreciate about it. It's like, man, hockey is at like light speed. You got this 10-pound puck just slapping against people and stuff, people hitting each other with sticks. It's crazy. I mean, you're not supposed to hit each other with sticks. I know that that's against the rules. On the Knights team, oh man, you're on the Knights? That's interesting, man. I've been a Knight before as far as mascots and stuff. That was actually my elementary school. I guess name. They didn't have no teams, but it was called the Knowlton Knights. And I forget who the heck's Knowlton. I never knew all these people that these schools are named after. I don't know who Knowlton is. I don't know who Zachary is. I do know who Taft is. He was the president. Stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know why we were Knights, but we were. All right, back in elementary. I know it says 3 people watching, man. You know, it's pretty much a dang record up in here. We got a 3 for y'all. Holler at the chat room if you're in here and stuff. Let me know what it is. So if I don't know if we're gonna get out of here, I just meant to pop in here real quick and give y'all an update. And I've already given the update as far as the documentary goes, as far as the radio broadcast goes. We may or may not have it. Thing is, I'm running out of battery right now. I'm suffering from all sort of technical difficulties. Like it's like rocket science trying to keep the battery on my phone charged up, right? Because I keep losing stuff and this and that. It's like, oh man, I don't know where my good battery charger is and stuff like that. And what it does is it causes stress on a Sunday evening that's just unaffordable. We can't afford to even have stress like that. You know, as far as playing music, I could do that, but the radio broadcast seems a little bit daunting. I mean, it is 7:30 at this point and stuff like that. We might want to think about that. Man, ain't nobody shouting out. People just watching and stuff, man. Just appearing from the shadows, lurking in the shadows, watching this live broadcast. So I appreciate you. That's the thing about it. I really do. All right. And that's why you're the reason why I came on anyways, you know, to let you know. Because I know there's people out there who, you know, I don't know, see my face and they're like, oh man, he's live and stuff. He must have some real deep info and stuff, man. I got to see what it is. I got to see what it is in real time and stuff like that. Oh no. What the hell? I'm not going to type a message. And you know, they want to get the 411, and I appreciate y'all. I really don't have much 411. I guess, you know, before we get out of here, I don't know who's actually interested. We got 4 people. Oh my God, it's nuts. But I don't know who's interested. The thing is, I gotta let you know, it's on the back of my mind all the time. All the time. As far as Parkland, because it's such a sure thing. And that's what's the problem. You know, and I know I have viewers a lot of the viewers who remain quiet about the situation. They want to believe into the idea that Nicholas Cruz is even capable of doing what he's alleged to be doing, or what he's alleged to have done. I think it's not really possible. All right, so technically it's on my mind just because I know it's kind of a winner. All right, there's no way in which the narrative that they are spewing, there's no way. There's just no way. And they actually, you know, and I mentioned this in a video, and I think that I uploaded it. They got a documentary that just came out, I believe, this past Friday, actually. And it's called Inside Building 12. And I made a video. I'm pretty sure I did upload it. It was called Voodoo Witchcraft. Because the thing is, I don't know. I can't tell you for sure, but it did seem like voodoo witchcraft. I know a lot of people probably wouldn't even understand what I mean when I say that. I'm saying basically like, here's a situation where, you know, it seems like all sort of children were slaughtered. And that's what it seemed like. And then it seemed like all sort of people were lying about the situation. And then it seemed like people were, you know, guys, you already know what it is. Basically just throwing it up in people's faces like, look, believe our lies, believe them, believe them. And they're just like pressing the lies all up in our faces. And it's nuts because by the time Parkland happened, there's already a big constituency of people who were ready to not believe a damn word. They were already ready to not believe anything at all about Parkland and to immediately call it a hoax all together and say that nobody died. There were people out there, but But you know what's interesting is, even though there were so many people who knew instinctually that uh, the big significant parts of Parkland were lies, it's kind of interesting to note that like most of the details are kind of lies too. That's what's kind of interesting, and there's so many details. Put it out there. We're gonna have to see, like I said, how long the documentary is, because today is what, October the 14th, and I would like to have it basically complete. Maybe not with the director's cut, and I do plan to make a director's cut just because I want to. But as far as not having the director's cut, I would like to have it out by November. Which the thing is, that gives what, 2 weeks, and working as much as I do, it's kind of like coming down to the deadline. Like it really is coming down to the wire, if you will. Something to think about is that's why, you know, definitely I'll be working on it tonight. Probably a good portion of tomorrow because it'll be my days off. In the meantime, I'm gonna have to squeeze everything in. The thing is, at the end of the day, I gotta let you know that I won't be able to squeeze in all of it. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. All right, I promise you. I've seen way too much. Everybody out there who's been putting out material and content, they've seen way too much. They promise you, it's like boggling people's minds out there because there's too much to even be able to share all at once. And I promise you, it's not to even exclude myself. Sometimes we're coming up with certain things, we're getting a hold of certain morsels of information, and we're running wild with it. I do want to suggest for people's consideration to just cool your jets, you know? Just cool those jets. We don't want to run wild with what it is that we don't know, what we think that we know. You know, I've noticed down this journey that, you know, it's probably just best to keep it as simple as possible. You know, there's different details that we could dive into, but there's simplistic ways to realize this ain't good. This is kind of weird, but like I said, there's a documentary that just came out, and a lot of people probably already know about it. I have reason to believe that it's witchcraft we do. All right, so there's definitely, I guess, no, a compelling urge in me to combat this witchcraft voodoo that I've been seeing. Right. That's basically about it. I know people are watching this stuff, but I don't know what to talk about. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. I guess before we get out here, something I did want to mention. And mind you, sometimes when I talk about, especially as far as Parkland goes, it's very serious. I mean, it's very serious, and you know, I've tried to put like age restrictions on it. It really doesn't matter and stuff. It's the internet, but very serious stuff. As I mentioned earlier, there's always new details that come out. You know, I'm already sure 100% that I don't know what happened that day. I don't know what happened in that building. I'm not going to suggest that I know, but I do know 100%, without a doubt, being lied to for certain and purposefully. All right. And like I said, so it is 100%, but even still, details will still come out. That's kind of nuts. Now, the other day, somebody sent me, because like I said, I got people just feeding me stuff, man, like a little baby bird. And I appreciate it. All right. You know, I couldn't really do what I do without them, you know, as good as I do it. All right. So, but they were sending me videos of some of the cell phone footage I'm going to talk about. And let me tell you, so some of these cell phone footages that I've seen, they're unsettling, all right? They're not savory at all. All right? And there was this one clip in particular that I saw that I couldn't help it. Like, I got into a weird zone. Dude, like, if you saw it from the outside, you'd be like, whoa, what's going on here? But I got into a zone where I watched this one particular clip over and over and over and over, and I slowed it down. I slowed it way down, and I was watching it over and over, and it's the creepiest thing. All right, this was a clip they were showing me, and it turns out that it was basically a leaked clip from the documentary Inside the Building 12, which is, you know, pretty much comprised of cell phone footage. So I'm watching this clip, and I'm so immersed in the situation that, you know, it's very easy for me. It's almost instantaneous for me to figure out, okay, where is this lady who's holding a cell phone camera? Where is she located in the building, right? And so I'm watching this clip over and over, and some people out there might know what the heck I'm talking about. I know there's 3 people up in the audience, and some people out there might know what I'm talking about, that particular clip, all right? Let me describe it for you if you've seen it before. You're in a classroom, all right? Lady's holding up the cell phone in the classroom. There's a guy who eventually gets picked up by a police officer, carried off. It appears that he got shot in the arm. Right? And it appears, among other things, that there was a girl who was shot on the ground, and there's blood everywhere. You know, it's not for the faint of heart. It's not everywhere, but it's enough. There's blood around. All right. So it's that video clip, and there's whatever you call it, an African American young lady, and she's asking for her phone for someone to get it, probably to document what's going on, and she's asking for that person to get it, and she's kind of like reaching for it and stuff. So you know what clip I'm talking about. The people are, the lady who's holding the cell phone is instructed by a police officer to leave the classroom. And when she does, she enters the hallway and notices, you know, there's a policeman with weapons drawn. It's highly a confrontational situation. There's bodies on the ground. And what she does is she starts to scream her head off and runs about the hallway. See how much battery, not too much battery left, but okay. There's people out there, and there's people out there who don't know what I'm talking about, who haven't seen what the little piece of footage I'm talking about. But for the people who have seen that footage, they know what I'm talking about. They already know which one I'm describing. Okay, so that video clip, like I said, I got into a weird zone in which I started playing it over and over and over again, just slowed it down. And it is real creepy. If you slow it down, that's one of the creepiest things you'll ever hear. All right? So I'm watching it over and over, and I get to the point where, okay, I see that she's running past bodies in the hallway. I want to take a gander at them. I want to take a look at them. Now, what I noticed about those 2 bodies in the hallway, all right, take it for what it is, wasn't much blood around them. All right? Some people would be kind of suspicious about that, and I slowed it down. I slowed it way down. Wasn't much blood around them. A lot of people would be suspicious. Here's the thing. I couldn't tell you whether or not someone's supposed to have blood all around them. Maybe they didn't have blood all around them. Maybe they still got shot. Maybe it's really dead bodies, you know, in the hallway. I'm just going to assume it is, right? So in that clip alone, I realized in that very location, I know exactly what's the location. It ain't supposed to be 2 bodies there, according to that animation that we're given. Now, I discussed, you know, at length, and everybody already well knows that that animation that we were given by Broward County via Fox and everybody else, that ain't even close to true. That ain't even close to true. So we already knew that. But I do want to point out that in that particular spot, as you'll notice, in the animation, it wasn't supposed to be 2 bodies. In fact, it's supposed to be 3 bodies. You might say that's a small detail, and technically it is, because we knew the animation was a dang lie to begin with. All right? We already knew it was a dang lie, but that's just even more, that's even more proof right there. It's supposed to be three bodies. And the thing is, like I said, I played it over and over and over and over again. It ain't no 3 bodies, it's 2 bodies. So to let you know, what I was talking about earlier in that video, let you know It's quite simply, your body's been moved around. And guess what? That's actually not good. You're not supposed to do that. You know what I mean? And that's what's nuts. But the thing is, if you compare the first animation to the second animation, it's already apparent that bodies were moving around. I mean, like, either somebody got shot on the second floor or somebody got shot, didn't get shot on the second floor. But meanwhile, nobody knows. And nobody's talking about it no more. Stuff like this. I only talked about that right now because that's just an example of another detail. It's all sort of details. I'm telling you, man. You dive into that rabbit hole. There ain't no bottom to it. It's just no bottom to it. All right. It'll blow your mind. Don't let it. You know what I'm saying? Don't let it take over your life necessarily. I'm not doing that. But at the same time, it just goes to show you, man, there's no bottom of that rabbit hole. Innocent until proven guilty, basically, is a fail-safe, all right? A fail-safe, man, because they'll say anything about you. They'll say anything about you. And that's what people are already understanding. And that's why there's people out there's at least a handful of people that's looking forward to my documentary, all right? And I don't even know to be honest with you, I'm not even going to get into the nittiest of the gritty as far as my documentary. As far as the stuff that I just, discussed with you right now, that ain't even going to make it in the documentary. I don't even have enough time for that, unfortunately. Stuff like that. But at the same time, before we get out of here, I got to let y'all know that there's that struggle that people feel out there, and they're having their minds blown to realize that people are throwing innocent until proven guilty out of the window. They're saying, "Oh man, this can't be." It's kind of something that America was founded on, this innocent until proven guilty type stuff. It's that struggle, and a lot of times it seems kind of negative. I just discussed all sort of gruesome details that it's not meant to make anybody happy. It sure doesn't make me happy. But at the same time, it's a tragedy, a terrible, terrible tragedy that's brought so many people together. Ah, dang battery, talking crazy to me. It's a tragedy that has brought so many people together. I was just thinking about it the other day. All sort of people who otherwise might not have never came together and unified, as a team, and felt, strength, through those means. These people wouldn't have got together if it wasn't for Parkland. It's kind of like this weird, crazy, inexplicable tragedy that seemed to bring certain forces together. And that cannot be undone. Right? It's a beautiful thing. It's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. Anyways, we've had people watching. There's been people who came in and out. I think I said what I got to say and stuff like this. As far as the music thing, it's just like, unfortunately, I think I'm too late. Too late for the dang music broadcast. All right, so I'm going to have to holler at y'all about it a little bit later. Been here long enough. I appreciate y'all, and I'll holler at y'all a little bit later. Actually, I have a few videos to upload and stuff, so you might catch those. And dang it, I gotta get back on that bitch shit and stuff like that. That's all sort of stuff. I just did my taxes today. All sort of stuff. I'll holler at y'all a little bit later.